Message.
You've got mail.
Damn it. You beat me to it.
I had a boss that he still did like AOL even 3 years ago.
Was he
And
using
what
Alta Vista as a search engine too?
Oh, geez. And he would like leave his volume on high. This is a work computer. And every now and then you'd hear, "You've got mail."
You've got mail.
And I'd yell out every time, "Holy
I'm
shit,
still
I
using
time
AOL.
traveled." RW ruined my joke.
Sorry, I got snippy.
Boo.
Boo, boo, boo.
Let's turn this mother out.
Are we?
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for, and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. You're watching Dorkening. My name is Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard. We have an awesome show scheduled for you today. We're going to be talking about, what to get your dork for Christmas. Also, some awesome new trailers are out and about, and some cool shows coming up. We also have some sad news in the comic industry. A lot of awesome stuff coming out. Well, the last one's not awesome, but yeah, we'll fill you in on everything. Oh, plus the internet was on fire this week. I don't know.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you didn't hear that?
Did you say the internet was on fire?
Pretty much, yeah. You had both Google and Amazon Web Services down this week.
Oh, didn't hit me, so
Well,
that's weird, man. I didn't get anything about that, and I'm subscribed to several news outlets.
Ah.
Wow.
Well, Google was today. So today was Google Meet. Let's see. It was several Google services that were down today. And then the other day was Amazon Web Services, which affected like Instacart, some really big business web services. I know one of the applications I use for work was completely down for like a day and a half.
Oh,
It
you know
usually-
that makes sense because yesterday at my place of business, the tool we use for communicating through phone calls, like it doesn't make calls, it just accepts them and sorts them.
Yep.
It was down, so we couldn't answer anything coming in for like the
Yeah.
last 2 hours of the day, which broke my heart for sure.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know Amazon Web Services. You know, Amazon, you think, hey, that's the place where I go buy toothpaste and get it in a day and a half. But it's actually their main business is web services. So they power like a majority of the internet, like all the big, like a lot of services run on their servers. And like the shopping is just gravy, which is insane. Bezos has way too much money. Isn't that right, Steven?
Yeah, and also I want to add, if the internet wasn't on fire, it was the Christmas tree in front of Fox News' outlet in New York.
Oh, really? That was on
Oh
fire?
yeah. That I
Some
did see.
some dipshit lit the Christmas tree in front of Fox News, the building where Fox News, Wall Street Journal, and New York Post is. It was
Well,
that.
Yeah,
Well,
it was
I mean-
it was a homeless guy who has a history of mental illness and drug use. So they're
Well,
thinking that he was not quite in his right mind when he did it.
yeah. Well, Fox News ain't that bad. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to make any comments either way. I'm just saying I wasn't surprised. Let me put it that way. When I saw the news, I was like, ah, yes, it is 2021. I get it.
RW, how's it going, my friend?
Good. I just want to say I don't get my toothpaste from Amazon. I've been doing this for years now, but I'll go to the nearest hotel and I'll say, yeah, I'm in room 111. I need some toothpaste. And they give me toothpaste. And then I go to the next hotel and I'm like, yeah, I'm in room 304. I just need some toothpaste. So that's how I get mine. I don't get it from Amazon.
We spend $27 in gas on $9 worth of toothpaste. Fantastic.
You know what's funny? My wife works at a hotel, and I used to work with somebody where she said that like her boyfriend would like sneak into the hotel every morning with like the kids to use the pool. It was just bonkers that like somebody
Quick. All right, now get out. You have to
I
do
mean,
this under the cover of sunrise.
Why would you sneak into? I don't know.
Do we have to wear the all black clothes while we swim? Yes, it makes you harder to see. Now go. Practice your breaststroke.
Yeah. So we got a bunch of people watching. If you are looking for Christmas gift ideas or holiday,
So are we.
Yeah, we are too.
I want to say real quick before
Yeah.
we get into everything. I want to compliment Leo and the Toking Dead on the Toking with the Dead on their show the show they just did. They wrapped up because Master Daniel Pacina is a fantastic guy. We had him on our show like a couple years ago. He's a fantastic guy. I'm assuming that's going to be a replay of their show or back catalog somewhere. So definitely check out that show that just wrapped up. So
Awesome. Well, thank you, Stephen. And for those that don't know, he's responsible. I mean, he wasn't a coder, but I mean, like he had a huge part to play in Mortal Kombat. It's like he played Johnny Cage. Who else?
Scorpion, I think.
Yeah, Scorpion. Like, and
Sub-Zero.
he developed a lot of the moves. Like he's a master martial artist. So, he did all the moves for a majority of the characters, even came up with some of the death moves, the fatalities. And yeah, he had some great stories about that.
I met him at Barry something, Green Mountain Comic Expo in Barry a few years back. Yeah, he was really nice.
Nice. Well, we
I've
should.
never met him, so that's what I got.
I met him.
Sounds like a great guy.
Should we get the sad news out of the way?
Yeah, let's make this episode all rise. So we'll start down here and we'll go up the hill and enjoy everything at the peak. Hopefully.
Sounds good. Brandon, would you like to take us into that?
Sure. So for all of the comic book geeks and dorks out there, I'm sure you've heard the name George Perez at one time or another. I mean, if you've been reading them for a while, if you're fairly new, congratulations, you're about to find out about George Perez. He's an artist and writer. He's worked on a number of high profile books and what have you. He's known for Wonder Woman, creating the Teen Titans, the new Teen Titans, the character of Deathstroke. And he also probably most famously, because it changed how the industry actually worked altogether because of the construction of a maxi series like this. He was the co-architect with Marv Wolfman for Crisis on Infinite Earths, which reset the entire DC universe in the comic books from all the convoluted multi-Earth things that have been set up over the years that kind of conflicted with one another through the golden and silver ages. And in the 80s, we start seeing the modern age. That's what it's normally referred to as. They came to the conclusion that they needed to streamline everything, and they broke everything down to its basest parts, which is not a bad thing. They updated them for the modern time, and it changed how DC comic books looks even today, and it showed all the publishers, the big two especially, DC and Marvel, that you could tell a year-long story and tie in multiple superhero comic books, different titles, and people would buy them to get the entirety of the story. And that's been both a blessing and a curse, because we've ended up with some outstanding stories from both sides of the fence. And then we've ended up with a whole lot of stinkers because they've just followed that formula of, oh, it's a long form story, just make it as many issues as you can. You can tell when that's happening.
Oh yeah, and DC's been doing a bunch of them lately. Yeah,
they both have, and
yep.
But that's neither here nor there. He definitely gave a shot into the arm of the industry in general and DC specifically in 1985. If you are interested in reading that at any point, I do recommend going to someplace like Amazon or your local bookstore and looking for the collected trade of Crisis on Infinite Earths. They did do a sort of adaptation of it for the CW shows. If you watched that and you enjoyed it, the comic book series is far more involved, not necessarily inaccessible, but you can see where that they combined and amalgamated and truncated certain things to fit into the universe they had set up on the television series. But once again, coming back to George Perez, he was prolific, particularly during the coming into the 80s. And he also wrote and drew a fantastic, actually drew with Kurt Busiek, JLA Avengers. It was a big crossover that people have been waiting many, many years to see. It was outstanding to behold. Like the fact that myself and any number of nerds in the comic book store when it came out were holding issue number 1 in our hands. We honestly could not believe it. We never saw that coming. We thought it was just a pipe dream. Well, all this being said, George Perez just recently announced that he has been diagnosed with stage 3 pancreatic cancer, and it is inoperable. And they went over all the options that he had available to him, chemotherapy, radiation, what have you. and he talked with his wife, and he decided he is not going to do that. He is going to let nature take its course. He's been given 6 months to a year to live. So this is fresh off the press. We all just found this out, and there's quite a few people that are still reacting to it, and it's gonna be a very tough year for the comic book industry altogether to lose a legend such as he, and especially in such a way. It's gonna be very difficult, and I'm sure that both he and his wife could use as much support as possible. And even if you don't like any of the comic books or characters that I've listed that he was involved with, let's just maintain a modicum of respect. Just because you don't like somebody's work or anything like that doesn't mean it's time to jump in and start bashing them. This
Yeah.
is a very sensitive topic and situation. So I think from all of us here, we wish him and his wife nothing but the best, and I really hope that he lives the rest of his life with ease and comfort, and surrounded by his loved ones.
Well said. I believe he said he's going to do for the fans, because he's certainly one. You hear some amazing stories about him, just being like the first one to go first one to get to a con and last one to leave.
Yeah,
Very similar to Sid Haig, for horror cons. But I believe he said he's going to try to do one more signing.
yeah,
Um, and,
yeah.
and
We're gonna see probably a few things where it's like, hey, one last thing, one big thing, and that's great. I mean, if ever there was a time for somebody like George Perez to be able to say, like, hey, this is what I got, and take it or leave it. I mean, for lack of a better term, when it comes to any work or anything he's wanted to do before he gets to the point where he's too unhealthy to do anything, now's the time. He literally, what does he have to lose? I mean, if he has an idea that could get cranked out and somebody could work on it and finish it, even if it's just a story he wrote, what's the worst they can say? No. Okay. Not even the worst news he's gotten in the past week.
um, I saw that there is calls for them to republish JLA Avengers.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, because like I said, it was such a big deal.
Yeah.
That it happened, and the fact that it was both he and Kurt Busiek doing it. I mean, game over. That's two guys right there. I mean, those are heavy hitters, and the fact that if they were working on anything together, you'd want to read it and see it. But the fact that it was JLA Avengers, come on, son.
So that's we can lead that into gifts to get your yeah.
Sorry, we have Leo mentioned this in a group chat, and I don't think anyone else followed up with it. There was also a piece of sad news. We might as well mention it before we rise up to good things. Leo, you mentioned there's a incident with a Star Trek star that's getting into some stand.
Oh yes. Oh my God.
After you mentioned it, I did some digging, and it's really, really bad. Do you want to mention, or should I?
Well, if you want to do the specifics, but I'll kick it off. So there was 2 videos that were making the rounds on the internet. Nichelle Nichols I believe she was at a con recently, and
She's doing her final appearance.
Yeah, it was supposed to be her final appearance
because it's for dementia. Yeah.
Oh wow. So one of her, I believe it was one of her oldest friends, was trying to talk to her.
Carrie O'Quinn, because he's the founder of Fangoria and Starlog.
So yeah, he was trying to talk to her, and he was physically removed from the room by, I believe it's her son.
No, he was physically removed by some helper or employee there, but her son was right there, and he was loudly flinging expletives his direction the whole way. I mean, like no decorum whatsoever. I mean, he was standing next to Nichelle Nichols. Like clearly you can see them, like she remembered him. She was smiling. They were kind of laughing a little. And then he came up and like, I mean, 2 feet away from his mother, this, you know, this nonagenarian, he just starts saying, you know, get the fuck out of here and what the fuck, get him the fuck out. I mean, it was difficult. It would be difficult to watch just as like, oh, that's how you behave at like at an event. But also, but just the fact that like that's your mother who suffers from dementia, and you're acting like that, and immediately getting someone who she clearly recognized away from her without any real explanation. I mean,
Well,
it was awful.
If you listen to the first video, he's trying to explain to her about the conservatorship that the son has, that
Oh,
she doesn't have control over what she does. And she said, well, that's not true. I can do anything I want. I'm my own person. And that's when the
I
son,
see. I didn't see that.
So-
yeah, it was, there's a video. He's, you know, the friend's talking to her very calmly. And then, he's trying to explain what's happening. And then the second video is, she wanted to stay. He's trying to force her to leave. And it's just heart-wrenching to hear her scream because she wanted to stay at the convention and talk to her friend. But yeah, it was just heart-wrenching.
So
That's
let me
terrible.
go into a little more detail on how severe this situation is. Basically, her son is being very controlling to the fact where he sold her house and forced her to move into a like far away from a situation. Like he controls where she lives, controls her convention appearances, controls her financial situation, basically runs her life. And given her state of mind, that's a very bad situation. Like I said, and like Leo said, this is like Stanley levels of bad, you know. So
Yeah, that's it's not great.
No. So everybody educate yourselves on what's going on. There are a couple videos going around where you can actually hear the conversations going on. But yeah, there definitely needs to be something done to protect our icons. We know the story is about what happened with Stan Lee, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's important to remember that, you know, a lot of what these people have contributed to us, like, yes, it's their career, it's their livelihood, but also it's a gift.
Yep.
You know, and we should all do our best to not take those things for granted, you know, particularly the people in those folks' lives.
Well, and especially, I mean, each elderly person is special in their own way, but Nichelle Nichols, she broke boundaries.
Yep.
It was she on Star Trek, the first interracial kiss was on TV.
Although that's up to debate because supposedly there was an interracial kiss before that. I read that, like, supposedly. So Desi Arnaz was from Cuba, and he kissed Lucy way before Star Trek. And then there was some other show where people from different ethnicities or whatever kissed as well. So they're saying that the Star Trek thing wasn't the first one or whatever.
Everybody's calling me wrong tonight.
I haven't called you wrong yet. I've just reinforced.
I literally just saw this like the other day, so I was like, "Wow, okay, so that makes sense." But I think they did that because, they're trying to say Star Trek was the first to do this, that, and the other thing. So they probably just, hey, let's throw that in there too. But yeah, I guess supposedly that's been proven not factual.
The first kiss between a white man and black woman on television.
Yeah.
Well, also, of her stature, just to have a black woman that prominent on TV, like she was going to quit. And I believe it was Martin Luther King Jr. that, said, you need to stay there for the movement. And, if you saw her at a con, she definitely tells that story well. Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Everyone, just check out everything that's going on with Nichelle Nichols. We don't know what could be done to help with that situation, so I can't really offer any ideas, any links or anything like that.
No,
But
but
by all means, please check
just
this out.
awareness is definitely,
Yeah, the more the people are aware, the more it forces the folks that are being looked at to behave.
Yep.
And speaking about behaving and being good instead of getting coal for Christmas, we're going to talk about what geeks might like.
Oh yeah, and not only that, it's let's talk about stuff that we would want ourselves, things that just to give people ideas, because there's not too much time left. There's a good chance you're not going to get a PS5 for somebody, even though
Not with that attitude.
even though I'm getting one. But yeah, Crisis on Infinite Earths. There's looks like 7 volumes. There is a hardcover edition that I believe it's the absolute edition. Looks like it's $327. Or check your local comic shop. There's a good chance they may have a different edition.
$327.
Yeah, probably they racked
that
up
big old box set thing.
probably.
I think it is.
Yeah,
that would make sense because that would be like all of Crisis, like every tie-in and what have you. So
the 30th anniversary deluxe edition is $100.
Yeah, I got it when it first came out in hardcover and had the wraparound sleeve. It had a slipcase. It has a wraparound sleeve that was painted by Alex Ross.
Oh, nice.
It's very nice.
HasLab is another great place to check. Unfortunately, the Rancor was not funded.
Oh no!
Yeah, this was like $400 for this deluxe Rancor.
I will say that this HasLab or Hasbro Pulse, they have some great material that they put out. About a few months ago, they came out with a Nerf gun that was inspired by Aliens' M48 pulse rifle, and it made the real noises, and it had the counter on it, like counted down from 30 to 0 when you shot like the Nerf darts. They paid attention to detail, and if you're a video gamer, I think last month they did the Halo Needler for a Nerf gun. So.
Right now they have the Ghostbusters Plasma Series pack, $400. Unfortunately, this won't ship in time for Christmas. But they do have if you do have like a Transformers or Star Wars fan, obviously Hasbro is the place to go. The Studio or the Series 86, these are awesome. And there's quite a few of those. So definitely some cool stuff.
Another great site to check out is Entertainment Earth. It's another great collectibles site.
Yes.
Yeah, there is a lot of fun stuff there. I have been frustrated with their shipping over the past year and a half, though. It's a little ridiculous.
100 times, yes. Their shipping sucks.
Yeah, not great. Not great. I got shipping changed on an item like 4 fucking times this year, and the worst part about it was a gift, which I had already told the person who I got it for, like, hey, look, I ordered this for you, and it'll be here in April of next year. And then April rolled around and they were like, haha, just kidding, it'll be June. And then June hit and they're like, how about September? I'm like, oh.
That happened to me. That happened to me when I got the NECA diorama, the street scene diorama. It like held back. Like I got it was back ordered, and they said they were going to ship it like 6 months later, and they said, oh yeah, 6 more months. I'm like, well, fuck you.
Oh, well, that's another 6 months. I can go a year and a half if you want, Stevie boy.
Well, it seems like a bunch of stores do that. I pre-order a lot from, not a lot, but I pre-order some key items from TF Source. And a lot of times they'll say, oh, it's coming out, in October, and then it'll get pushed back to January, So It's
Even though it was back ordered, they still were opening for pre-orders. So I got my Ecto One popcorn bucket from AMC online. So I pre-ordered it, even though it was back ordered. So it's coming to me. Oh, I have to wait
Nice.
till January. So
Yeah.
Of 2023.
2022.
TF Source is another great series or site to go to. Transformers specific. Big Bad Toy Store. I don't know if you guys checked this
Yep.
site out.
That's
I've
the
never
one.
checked that out, but I
Yeah.
will very soon.
I get their catalog along with Entertainment Earth.
Yeah, they put together an awesome catalog.
I don't know if the website is Diamond Select. I think it might be.
Oh,
but
Diamond,
they come out
yeah.
with a lot of good stuff. They've come out with a lot of Tron stuff recently, and I'm like trying to get most of it, but they always have some good stuff.
Expensive stuff, but yes, I agree.
Well, not some of their stuff is expensive, but they do have some very reasonably priced stuff. Their banks, I don't know if you can see, I have a Han Solo and Carbonite bank. I think it was like $20, but the thing's huge. It's a bank, but it's like a statue, you know.
Do you keep money in it?
I think I got a couple coins in it. It's just there for
They actually aren't selling those currently because they actually are frozen.
oh,
Why?
but dumb.
Wow.
That's it. No, he keeps them in there in case they freeze his account.
Oh, jeez.
Ice pun. Wait.
But yeah, Diamond Select, you know, awesome quality. I mean, you know, it's yeah, you know, Marvel. They have Marvel stuff, Disney, Star Trek, Star Wars.
Like I said, they might not have the Tron stuff anymore because lots of times it's like, you know, the Tron stuff comes out and it's like limited, and they, you know, have like 1,000 of them or whatever, like a stupid Funko Pop. And once 1,000 are gone, oh yeah. So the ones on the left there I have, and then I actually have everything that's on there right there. I managed to get
Nice.
all of them or whatever. But sometimes they're limited, and then the price goes up or whatever.
This Big Bad Toy Store's website's pretty dope. Like,
Yeah, it is.
I just found a Max Fleischer Superman the Mechanical Monster deluxe box set.
He sells so it's both new stuff and used. So like he has like a lot of out of the box stuff, you know, if you're looking for like classic Star Wars stuff.
Oh, that's
I
cool,
loved Out of
man.
the Box on Disney when my kids were growing up.
What?
Was it? That
What?
flew over my head, RW.
What
What was
just
that?
happened? I missed that.
There was a show on Disney called Out of the Box. It was like a kid show, and I have 2 daughters, and when they were growing up, we had to watch Out of the Box. So I love to just throw in random stuff and confuse everybody.
Mission accomplished. I've never heard of that show before.
I was told I couldn't talk about the 70s. I had to talk about something.
The Superman's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think he's a pretty cool cat. Oh yeah, like the action figure there. I'm a fan. So yeah, there's plenty of stuff, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean, you know, not only toys, you know, if you need something right away, you know, a great thing, you know, I know it's a little pricey, but you know, drones are always cool. They do have smaller ones if you're under a budget.
And I'm not sure how hard to find these are now. They might be hard to find, or they might be expensive to find now. And yes, let me finish my story. But for all you Star Wars fans, back in the day when I was growing up, in the newspaper, and a lot of people don't know this because they weren't there then, there was a Star Wars comic strip that was every single day. There was a comic strip of Star Wars. And I used to cut them out. But they recently made a 3-volume set of all strips.
No way.
Yeah, so there's a 3-volume set of all the, so that's the Sunday ones, obviously, because the Sundays were colored, but the non-Sunday ones, where are they? Were black and white. So there's a 3-volume set of all the strips that were in the newspaper. And like I said, when I was a kid, I cut them out and then I lost track and lost them and stuff. So this is a cool gift if you're a Star Wars fan. Like I said, there's three books: Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3, and it covers the entire run of the Star Wars comic strip that was in the newspaper from 78 maybe to I think it was 82 or somewhere in there. But for Star Wars fans, like I say, most people don't even know about it because they were like not around when it came out. But
yeah, my grandmother saved all the newspapers, and you know, like there was a shed that she had. Like she wasn't a hoarder, but
the old fire hazard.
Yeah,
she had stacks and stacks of newspapers, and I remember, you know, when I was little, going through and pulling out all the funny papers from them, and finding Star Wars and thinking, oh my God, there's a Star Wars comic.
Yeah. It didn't really follow any of the real. I mean, C-3PO and R2, but it didn't really follow anybody else until later on. But one thing I wish Topps would do, and maybe they have already, and I just don't know about it. I wish they'd release a book like that with all the original Star Wars cards in it for people who don't have the full collection and can't, you know, whatever, because these are like impossible to find. But if you don't know anything about the Star Wars, they started out blue for the first 66, and then they went red, and then they went yellow, I think, and then they went green, and then they went orange or whatever. But I wish Topps would like just put this in a book like that, so that you wouldn't have the cards, but you could at least see all the different things or whatever. And like I say, I don't have a complete set, but I think that would be a cool gift idea. And people who are retro and Star Wars fans would probably eat that up.
Totally.
I just want to mention with your drone thing, Leo. Also, you can instead of going to big corporate stores like Best Buy and them, support like your local hobby shops. Me and Leo have a hobby store in our town that's been around since I think 1960 something, and it's still there. And they sell drones now, along with models and.
Nice.
You know the place, Leo.
Lee's Toy and Hobby. Yep.
Yeah, they sell drones now. So if you,
I mean, shop local is definitely a good thing to do. It's I know some people are like under the gun, so like a lot of times we'll do our stuff last minute. We'll just go to Best Buy, and throw some stuff on the.
I'm just throwing that out there in case people want to support their local store.
Oh, exactly. That's a great idea. Another thing to do, if you're worried about, somebody price gouging you, camel.com is awesome to check prices. This will tell you prices through Amazon, but it'll also do like third party as well. But it will give you the history over like the last year of that of the prices for that product. So you can see if is now, are they racking up the price now? Is now a good time to buy? So it's definitely, a good way to save some money.
My uncle's a beekeeper, so if you need some other drones, I might be able to hook you up with him. He's got all the drones. I love looking at Brandon's face when I tell these things. He just
so I mean, I know I talked a lot about toys, but what about you guys? What's some stuff that you think are great gifts for Christmas?
I want for Christmas.
Money.
Yeah,
money's good. Yeah,
I'm a big. You can always give me money in my favorite amount, a wad. No, I mean, I personally, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I could say like, oh, I'd like to get this, and I've had my eye on that, but I don't really do that. I usually throughout the year, if I see something, I buy it.
Oh yeah.
My wife and I don't actually do gifts at Christmas for one another. We always just take care of everybody else. It's kind of good because we work together as a team, all through and through. And then we don't have the stress of trying to figure out what the other one wants.
Yeah.
We do make a big deal out of each other's birthday. But yeah, Christmas has always been more about like, oh, what do I see that I know somebody else would really like? I mean, one of the things I find is a good hallmark of, oh, this is a great gift is if you buy it for someone and then you're like, man, kind of think I want to keep that. Like if you're second guessing actually giving it to them because you want it, you've probably made a good choice for a gift. So I personally like I try to look at things that I know other people that I get gifts for would really enjoy. For me, like I'm fairly simple. I like nerdy, like smaller nerdy things like um there's this poster I've had my eye on. It's like 100 movies that you scratch off, the top 100 movies, and for
nice.
each one that you watch, you can scratch off the block, and it has like a little picture underneath, and you work your way through the poster. Like that's a fun little thing you get for like a cinephile or what have you. I know that there's a lot of like gamers and stuff out there. The Oculus Quest 2 is out and about. And you can get that for like $300. I frankly don't know what the hell you would do with it, but
Well,
I've seen plenty of people talking about it.
You would sell your soul to Facebook. That's what you would do.
Oh well,
Yeah,
you're
'cause,
putting it away there.
Facebook bought Oculus. Pretty sure
Oh
they
yeah,
bought
that's right.
Oculus.
Well, never mind that.
Part of their metaverse.
Yeah, but the thing is, they require. I think they changed it, but on the other version, it required a Facebook account in order for you to use it.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, bump that and such. But I did come across this recently. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. I thought it was pretty cool. Share screen. Yes, share screen. Once again, share.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
see, I want the Tron one, but no one wanted to pay $700 and buy it for me.
Yeah, because then wait, what? No one wanted to pay they made one?
A Tron, yeah. Arcade One-Up's got the Tron. Comes with a stool and the riser for $699. And I joined my birthday week. I put up a GoFund or one of those, donate money to me things. I want this game, and not one person gave me a dime. But yeah, Tron, it has the original Tron game with discs of Tron, the cool little light up joystick, all the graphics, comes with a footstool. I'm like, that's what I want. But yeah.
RW.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna say is have you thought about an X Arcade?
What's that?
So let me.
That's the thing that mounts on a wall.
No. So X Arcade is a company. They make arcade parts, arcade machines, joysticks, and yeah. So basically, they'll sell you a machine that has like a computer and everything in it, and I think they even load it with games. So it's like a one machine that like plays like
Right.
Like, every
Type in
arcade
Tron
game.
there. Type in Tron there, and you'll see. Hopefully, they have it. I know that Arcade One-Up's out of them, and the only place you can get them is Walmart, Best Buy, and Target now. But I don't know if you'll at least be able to see it. There. Wow, I wouldn't think it'd be that far down, but
Best Buy has it.
oh, okay, yeah.
Arcade One-Up puts out some good stuff. They recently came out with a T2 arcade, Simpsons arcade, NBA.
Ooh, the Simpsons arcade game.
Oh,
they got Tempest.
But yeah, I don't need anything. I mean, again, I'm 56 and I just need air to breathe and to be healthy at this point. And like you say, I see something on eBay or Amazon and I just go, oh, I need that. And then I get it and I'm like, it's sitting on a shelf collecting dust. Why did I need this? And I think when I was growing up as a kid, my parents, worked wicked hard and they couldn't always get the stuff that I wanted. So they substitute some other thing or whatever. So now as an adult, I'm like, I just got to buy everything that I want. And then once I get it, it's like, now what can I buy? So yeah, I don't need anything.
We'll help you try to figure out how to get up and going with MAME.
I'm in the same boat as RW and Brandon. For me, it's the difference between want and need.
Yeah.
And also, they're not only the fact that, adulting bills and all that stuff, you don't have the money to get what you want, in the words of the Rolling Stones, but if you try, you can get what you need. But not only the fact that, my birthday is 5 days after Christmas, sometimes I get robbed with presents, so it just really doesn't matter anyway. So
Oh yeah, you know what? Right. Oh, there you go. Right,
Yeah, it
right
comes
here.
with the
This
stool.
okay.
is
Yeah,
the
but
this is
yeah,
the thing
I
that
mean, I
this
got
is the one
Tracy
gift
and
I
people.
want every year. Right here. This is
Yeah, I
what I
mean,
want.
I don't know.
Boom.
Whatever.
Just give me Amazon gift cards.
Yeah.
Gift cards are the shit. I love gift cards.
Yeah.
Me
Just
too.
give me the Amazon gift cards. I'll let them pile up, and then I will buy something obscene for $700 in 4 years.
In all
Boom.
seriousness, I mean, I just want to, like be in a movie with Ryan Reynolds or, that's a big thing to want, but I just want to do something like that where it's like, oh my God, I was in a movie with Ryan Reynolds or Adam Sandler or, some big star. And maybe I was a co-star. Maybe I just had a small part, but, that's, not a material thing. It's something I've been trying to do for 35 years or whatever. So to me, the biggest birthday Christmas present would be like, oh my God, I'm going to be in a movie with Ryan Reynolds or whatever, it's not I don't know. I just acting and making people laugh, with corny B drone, pun joke things or whatever is really what it's at for me. I've been trying to make people laugh for 35 years. So to me,
And you're still trying now.
yeah, still trying, but yeah, I mean,
I get
Christmas is more about others now than myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
So,
going on
yeah.
that cruise.
So if you're looking for gift ideas on this show, go pound sand.
Yeah,
Well, the goal of this was to give others ideas for.
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
I will say I did come across this. I'll share my screen one more time. I think it's pretty cool. As a gift, particularly because of the pandemic still raging, all throughout the world. But you can give a 1-year gift
Oh
subscription
yeah,
to Disney
yeah.
Plus.
I did that last year for my sister.
Yeah, see. I clicked on a link to follow it, so I don't know it, but disneyplus.com/welcome/gift subscription, gift hyphen subscription. So yeah, I mean, you can just type in like Disney Plus gift subscription in Google or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty cool. You can do the same thing for like HBO Max or any other streaming services that have that available. But I think that's pretty neat. Especially if somebody has, one to any number of children. There's a lot of stuff there that can keep them occupied.
Or if you're a large child yourself,
Yes, indeed.
Last year, Tracy's sister gifted me, and now the thing just like went away. But it's that you guys might know if you help me out here because my ADD is bad. It's that thing where like Samuel L. Jackson does these courses and tells you how to act and
Masterclass.
Masterclass. Thank you. So that's what she gifted me last year. So you can, because as an actor and writer, she's like, I think you would enjoy this. So that's what I got last year. But again, in February, I'm going on that Love Boat cruise. So technically, that's my Christmas, birthday present thing or whatever. So, but yeah, I got the Masterclass last year, which was pretty cool.
Nice.
Very cool. Speaking of Disney, is everybody caught up on Hawkeye?
Yeah.
Is
that a yes for everybody?
RW, yes.
No, I'm still waiting for the episode where Radar comes back, but yeah.
It's another MASH joke for everyone out there who's never watched MASH. I'm sure that just hit the funny bone something fierce.
Oh, go ahead, Leo.
No, well, anyway, in this week's episode of Aftermash,
that's rough. Aftermash.
Yeah, that only lasted a couple episodes.
Yeah, lasted to the end of the episode. Like, how did they cancel this show before it was over? It It was on for 37 minutes and they just pulled the plug. What the?
Mm.
So on splash pages, I think it's My Life as a Weapon. Yeah. So there's a graphic novel. It's I don't know what series of Hawkeye it is, but you can get the graphic novel My Life as a Weapon, and or Volume 1, Hawkeye Volume 1, My Life as a Weapon.
Probably by
And-
Matt Fraction, I'm guessing.
Yep, exactly. And they pulled a lot of the show from that one graphic novel.
Yes, it's because it's the most interesting Hawkeye's ever fucking been.
Yeah,
Great read, but the show's been phenomenal so far.
it has.
Yes, I mean I agree with you guys, but a lot of people out there do not.
They
Well,
don't like it.
I will say the ending of this recent episode got me hyped because for what people are saying about Black Widow, I understand, but the ending, the post-credit scene, the very end, I was like,
Wait,
they
what?
got
There's a
Huh?
post-credit scene today?
No. He's talking
Component.
about at the end of Black Widow.
Black Widow.
Oh, okay.
Well, in the post-credit scene of Black Widow, when they set that up, I'm like, yes, they have to throw her in Hawkeye, and they did, and yes, and also I'm a Florence Pugh fan. I really liked Midsummer, so
They are saying that episode 5. So this week was episode 4, but episode 5 they're saying is going to light up Twitter. So
Yeah, so I mean, there's been a lot of speculation that we're going to see the Kingpin,
yeah,
Wilson Fisk, and that
Yeah.
likely will be what we're talking about.
I mean, we saw kind of a shadow of him in the
Well,
beginning of episode 3.
not a shadow. You actually see the hand and the suit, and it looks a lot like
Even the laugh, just like the chuckle,
Yeah.
sounds like Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah,
and also I don't know if you caught it, but the auto body shop was Fat Man Auto.
Fat Man Auto, yeah, I did
And
catch that.
Hawkeye referenced the king of the tracksuits, or the tracksuit king,
yeah.
in this week's episode.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed seeing the person who showed up in this week's episode. I guess we need to be purposefully cryptic.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, I've been enjoying the show since the first 2 episodes dropped simultaneously. And for me, that's a big deal because I was not expecting much from the show. However, with it going past, episode 3 coming into this week's episode, my wife and I both remarked, like, it's actually kind of refreshing to see just like a smaller, non-world threatening / cosmic, cosmically endangering individual roaming about that needs to be taken care of. It's a small scale, more street level story that's being told, and I think it's a great precursor to a lot of the other stuff that we're going to see coming through on Disney Plus with the likes of Moon Knight,
Yeah.
and some of the other Marvel Knights characters that they're going to be utilizing.
Well-
I just that's been one of the major complaints from other people, is that it just like it doesn't matter, and like, oh, there's like nothing happening in these episodes. And it's like, you do realize that like story progression
Exactly.
is like a long game when you have like 6 episodes of a series that you're doing. Also, not everything needs to be like bombastic. Sometimes the quieter moments are the ones that can reverberate further.
Well,
Also,
just not just real quick. The for the people that don't like it, they're just plain wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I've said, like, listen,
Yeah.
everyone's entitled to their opinion, but there are some people out there, your opinion is just flat wrong.
So like same thing with Falcon and Bucky. It wasn't it had some action, but you also had the episode with I forgot the guy in the mask, him dancing. It's
Zemo.
Zemo. So it's Disney has a a really great way of taking some characters that you really didn't care about and making you care about them. Like Hawkeye, like I enjoyed Hawkeye, but he wasn't flashy like Iron Man or Spider-Man or anything. But this show makes you care a whole new level about Hawkeye. You're learning more about his family. They're introducing Kate Bishop, which we know that's going to go into Young Avengers. It's same thing with Falcon and Bucky, Loki. They made us care about Iron Man 3. They made us care about
about time somebody
Thor,
care about Iron Man 3.
So did you guys notice episode 4 with this obviously was kind of a big deal. Episode 4 with WandaVision was kind of a big deal. Episode 4 of Loki was kind of a big deal. Episode 4 of Winter Soldier and Falcon was kind of a big deal. You ever notice that? I think, Brandon, you mentioned this when we talked about Falcon, Winter Soldier, or Loki, or one of the earlier Marvel shows. You notice that episode 4 is when things kick into high gear and get really, things pick up.
Well,
Right.
yeah, it stands to reason. You're reaching, either just past or coming up to the midway point of those stories being told for the season or limited series. So yeah, it kind of needs to get to that point where the escalation is going to start going full bore. If not, then they're not doing it right.
If you think about it with the math of all the episodes, obviously this is 6 episodes, but with Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, and Loki, those were 8. So that episode 4 was the halfway point, and usually, I don't remember what was said, but I think if it goes past 4 episodes and it doesn't get that halfway point, it usually falls flat on its face. But obviously, this is 6 episodes, and 4 was past the halfway point. Do you think Hawkeye? Obviously, the story progression is good. The characters are good. Do you think, obviously, a lot happened in this episode? Do you think it progressed well, or do you think it fell flat on its face?
No, I think it's doing well. I mean, considering my wife and I, my wife's the one that turned it on tonight. You know what I mean? That to me speaks of how well it's doing, because my wife is not well versed in any of the comic book characters. She knows the stuff from the movies and shows that have come out so far, and she's been enjoying this show just as much as I have. And there have been little tidbits here and there where I have to stop and say, not that I have to, but I stop and give an explanation, when Echo first shows up. I gave her a quick breakdown of who the character is, how I know her from the comic books. And I was like, I don't know how much is that's really going to come into play here, but you have a roundabout idea. And sure enough, we watched the episode where it explains a little bit of her background. And yeah, it was close enough to what I explained to Dara that she was like, oh, okay, yeah, I see how the seeds were there for what they actually put on the show. I think we're getting 2 more episodes. Who knows how long the last one's going to be, but I think it's reasonable to anticipate that the 6th episode, it's not going to ring of finality. It's just going to be a continuation into one of the upcoming projects. And so it's whetting your appetite for Young Avengers and how these characters start to be incorporated into the larger MCU altogether. I think that's a reasonable expectation to have. And anyone who's watching a lot of these things that is not seeing all kinds of explosions or big superpowers going off every 2 minutes, they need to slow their roll and remember, it's a marathon, not a race.
Mm-hmm.
Take your time. We got 23 fucking movies that became the Infinity Saga. You're not going to get that big bang with the first 2 movies into the next phase and a handful of television shows. Calm down.
RW.
So 2 things. One, right before the podcast, Tracy and I were on Netflix, and as we were closing it out, we noticed second season of The Witcher is going to be December 17th.
Yes.
I didn't know if anybody's watched the first season of that.
Oh, love the first season. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just thought I'd contribute. and then the second thing, again, I'm stuck in the 70s and 80s and don't understand certain things like, A-Team, Knight Rider, Magnum PI, all were like 22, 23 episodes per season, as were most shows like All in the Family and so on and so forth. Why are we doing these 8-episode seasons like on The Mandalorian? And you're saying this is only a 6-season thing on Hawkeye?
Okay, well, first of all, I can actually hear the disdain in your voice when you're saying why are we doing that. I'm gonna come back at you with the same disdain because they have no time for filler bullshit. That's what 23 episodes of a show gets you. You get 16 episodes that are worth it at best, and then what? 7, 8 more episodes that were clearly filler. They needed to fill in time. When you truncate a season and keep it to like a quarter of a year or a little less, it can hold a viewer's attention more, especially in this day and age. And also it allows the writers, it forces the writers to get to the crux of the matter each time. Like, I would prefer having a 10-episode season if it's going to be quality storytelling for 30 to 60 minutes each time, as opposed to getting 23 episodes, 24 episodes of a season and watching them spin their wheels for maybe half of it. I mean, that's literally like why I just stopped watching The Flash on the CW.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm tired of the filler.
Yep.
You know, it's not worth it for me anymore to get to the really good stuff because it took 6 episodes in between that good stuff and the last good stuff that happened. And I think it's one thing for a sitcom, a half-hour sitcom to do like, 20-something episodes in a season. Okay, sure. But like when you have more serialized storytelling, and really Heroes on NBC was probably one of the biggest tellers on this one. They realized like, oh, we need to like keep it tight because attention spans wander. And I mean, if anything proved the idea that you need to keep it quick is the writer's strike that occurred during season 2's production of that show. It shows how much it hurts a show to break a serial formula when that's what you predicate the entire like concept on. And then it just like you crap out all kinds of stuff to fill in the spaces in between. It's the viewer nowadays has become far more savvy and they have far more options to go to. So they need to keep it short and sweet and make sure that somebody like starts it and for 33 minutes straight like keeps their eyes glued to the screen and their butts glued to the seat.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
no, I was just gonna say, I totally agree. It's definitely makes it for a better story. There's also a higher budget per episode that's allowed now. If they're gonna give them a budget for 30, and they cut it down to 10, but with the same budget as a 30, just the quality is just so much better. But what were you gonna say, RW?
No, I'm just again, and we're if we all agreed on everything, then it'd be kind of a boring. Oh, I love that the cat's up there. That's awesome. If we agreed on everything, then it'd be kind of a boring world. But like again, Star Trek: The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, all of those were like 23 episodes. And for me, again, TV's different now because you're not watching CBS, NBC, and ABC as much as you are watching Netflix, Hulu, and all these other streaming services that do things differently. But I know with me, it's like, I don't know if it was 9 months of, whatever shows, and then they go into hiatus and they come back. But with 10 shows or 8 shows or whatever, it's like, I don't want to wait another year to watch The Mandalorian again. I want to see more Mandalorian. So for me, I want more. I don't want to wait a year to see something.
Yeah, but you have to remember how much goes into each one of these episodes too. I mean, there's definitely a lot more production value and goings on for an episode of The Mandalorian than there was for an episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Right.
Well, just to back up, Deep Space Nine, I totally agree. I didn't really care. But if you back it up to Next Generation, that had an insane budget per episode at the time for the 90s.
Yeah.
$1 million an episode was unheard of. The special effects for the time was amazing, but they also had incredible writers. Star Trek Next Generation is one of those very few instances where, I think it was great for them to do 20 something episodes a season, but they ended it at season 8,
7.
7. Yeah.
No, Deep Space Nine was ended at 7.
No, all Next Generation and Deep Space Nine were all 7 seasons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, obviously the original only lasted 3, and I think Enterprise only lasted 5. I never watched it, and I don't remember how long Voyager stayed on the air, but I believe
I think Voyager
the Next Generation and Deep Space Nine were both 7 seasons.
Yeah. But like Discovery right now, Discovery is so fucking phenomenal. But that's another one that's it's like 10 episodes a season.
Yeah. Again, it's just, and I'm sure these shows are. I mean, I love The Mandalorian and stuff, but it's like, oh God, so that's it.
Well,
we have to wait for
you have to wait
10 months to see this again or whatever it is, and
yeah. But in the meantime, you're going to be able to see Boba Fett.
Right. No, and I get that. And in the
actually,
with Hawkeye ends, and you can watch WandaVision, or you can watch, when any of these other shows that are on there that are whatever, But I'm just saying, for me, as a 56-year-old guy who grew up in the 70s and the 80s, it was like 23 episodes or whatever per season, and I'm just wondering why they cut it down to 6 or 8 or whatever. And I get what you're saying, less episodes, but better episodes and better quality than just a bunch of episodes that, that wasn't a good episode. That wasn't a good episode. That wasn't such a great episode either, kind of thing.
Yeah. And Jeremy talks about Flash, but, I fell off the rails with like Arrow, and I tried to get back into it and trying to binge it. Oh my God. It was so painful binging.
Fucking nightmarish, dude.
Yeah.
I stopped watching it like several seasons in, like once they started really stretching, and I swear, like my head almost fucking exploded when people started saying like, "Oh, Diggle's he should be Green Lantern. He's gonna be Jon Stewart." I'm like, his name is John fucking Diggle. What's wrong with you people? And then the fucking writers of the show were like, "Oh, that's kind of a funny idea. Let's have his stepdad be on the show, and we'll have his stepdad be Stewart. So he technically is Jon Stewart." I'm like, you are adding fuel to the fire, you fuckheads. This is not helpful.
Jeremy says using a show like The Flash was a great way to explain your point, Brandon, but I do agree with RW. That's why I read a lot for all the filler, but I also would watch 40 episode seasons of everything, but we're a different creature of viewers. It's also different times,
if they were going to make a 23 episode season each year of whatever show, that's great. And if every episode was like a magnum opus, phenomenal. I wouldn't not watch it if it was something I were into, and I certainly wouldn't, I wouldn't poo-poo it or anything. But what I'm trying to say is, okay, Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Star Trek
totally
Next
get what you're
Generation,
trying to say.
Excellent shows. And once again, we do have to consider the time that they were made in. It's not just about budget and being able to use a 24 episode budget for 10 episodes or anything like that. It comes down to the number of options altogether. And the smaller a season is, the more easily accessible it appears to be to somebody from the outside. If you see a season that is 23 episodes versus a season that is 10 episodes, and you are pressed for time, you are trying to figure out what you're going to get the most value for in the amount of time you have, you are likely going to pick the one that's 10 episodes. And that's definitely one of the considerations that comes into play. But also to sort of come up against the idea of like, why can't I get more? Much like what Leo was saying with The Mandalorian. Yeah, they're working hard on that. But in the meantime, you will be able to see the Book of Boba Fett
And
and
Kenobi, when that
and
comes
Kenobi.
out.
Yeah, so it's not that there's yeah, you have to wait a little bit more for that portion of the story, but there's other things in between.
Right.
And I like the idea that because there are shorter, more substantive seasons that really drive the stories and focus on characterization more, that it makes us more anticipatory for what the rest of the story is going to be coming up for the newest season, but also it allows us more time to see other new things that we might not otherwise have the time to check out. That's, I think, one of the saving graces of streaming and the shorter seasons. Now, if we could just get them to stop releasing everything on one day, I hate binging. I absolutely hate
Which is a
it.
matter of fact, for those of you who don't know, obviously Hawkeye is 6 episodes. Book of Boba Fett is going to come out a week later after the season finale of Hawkeye. So it's just Disney's just going to keep on rolling with awesome shit.
Trying anyway.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean also Book of Boba Fett comes out the day before my birthday. So
happy birthday to you.
Yes.
Also, with shorter seasons, it really makes it easy for a newcomer to go into a show where they
Like
can
I was saying,
easily-
like from the outside, like if they were looking at it and like, this is 23 episodes, but this is 10 episodes. Like, I can knock this out in a weekend, versus, I'm not going to be able to get through all of that. And then they get halfway through, if they do attempt the 23 episode daily, halfway through it, and then probably forget to go back to the next half because they're already doing something else the next weekend. It's all about the production companies trying to make sure that somebody who starts watching what they make finishes watching what they make.
Exactly.
That's really what it boils down to.
Recently, Tracy and I watched Only Murders in the Building. Which
that
was
was so good.
Yeah, and watching that and stuff like The Mandalorian and stuff, we are now filming these types of TV shows as if they are movies. And there's a different way of filming a movie than there is a TV show. So I'm guessing maybe what goes into these limited series, and we'll call them limited series because they're 6, 8, 10 episodes. To me, that's limited. They're filming it like they would film a movie, which it takes 6 months to film a good movie or whatever, and so they got to use that 6 months and they got to film 10 episodes or whatever. But Murders in the Building I thought was a great series or whatever. But I get what you're saying, but then it ends and you're like, okay, I want more. And now you have to wait for another season or whatever.
They're also working on season 2 on that. And just real quick, Jeremy says, with Star Wars shows, I'm just glad people aren't bitching about them. I need more Star Wars in my life, no matter the quality. Give me the Book of Jar Jar. And I also have to say, just in defense of the shorter shows, like Brandon said, there's definitely more to watch now. And just keep in mind, this is not the 70s. We have more than 2 channels.
No, I get you there.
Just a lot of options.
Yeah, and
hold on. I forgot. Sorry, UHF, where you got to move the bunny ears and then you get it a little fuzzy.
Also, I will say, I will agree with RW about like these shows being more cinematic. When I was watching the latest episode of Hawkeye today, I noticed like, geez, if you cut out the intro and the credits and splice everything together, it's one big movie.
Yeah.
Same with WandaVision. I was putting 2 and 2 together today. Same with WandaVision. Get rid of the intro, the credits. It's one big movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean
that's clearly how they're
format.
It.
Go ahead, Brandon.
No, I was just saying that's clearly how they're approaching doing these series. I mean,
so they're making television more cinematic. And again, when I was growing up, a TV show was shot a certain way. This angle, this angle, this angle. That was it. That's how the TV show. Then you go see a movie and a movie shot this way. But now they're bringing the way that you film movies into television, and it's looking more like you're at a theater, the way they're filming new TV shows with, the way that they do it. And Tracy's mom was watching some movie on something. I don't know what it was. And I go, wow, they shoot these Hallmark movies all the same. And she goes, it's not a Hallmark movie. So I don't know if it was Lifetime or what it was, but
Oh,
like
they're all the same.
they're shot in such a weird way, like angles that like are just the weirdest angles. And I'm like,
They're all made by the same Canadian filmmakers.
yeah, I'm like,
Actually,
who's
some of
filming
that-
this? Like these angles are so like
Some of the
yeah.
filming locations for the latest Hallmark movies have been in me and Leo's area.
Ah.
So
Oh, don't bring us into the mix, please.
But I do get it. Again,
Yeah.
I'm just a person who, watched the A-Team or, Knight Rider or whatever it was and looked forward to the fact that there's 23 episodes and then blah, 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 blah. And now it's like, oh, this was a great show and it's over. And that was 6 episodes and I'm done, but I get it. There's all these streaming servers, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix, and the list goes on. And everybody's trying to get viewers. So like you say, somebody's going to be more apt. Oh, this is only 10 episodes. We should watch this. We'll be through this, quicker than if we watch that. I do get it.
And there's more out there for what people like too, like Witcher. You mentioned Witcher's season 2 starting, but if you were starved for more Witcher, there was like Wheel of Time has been running, and there was a couple other shows that were very similar to that. I can't remember what they were now. They were that
like
good.
Foundation on Apple TV, and
Yeah.
just any other type of saga. Like there's options for that, sure.
Yep.
But like, I think part of it too, just for myself, is I come at it with the point of view that, I mean, you'll certainly relate to this, RW. I remember, how do I put this? Like for me, the best Thor is still Eric Kramer. Like I like Chris Hemsworth a lot, but I do think that Eric Kramer was the best part of the Incredible Hulk Returns. Like it's very difficult to play a role like that in a show that's for the most part grounded in reality. Like he just turns into a big Lou Ferrigno with a wig. Okay. But here we have Eric Kramer playing the Norse god of thunder Thor, and like hot damn if he didn't play the hell out of it. And ideally, like that's Thor. That is exactly what Thor is supposed to be. And like I said, that's not a knock on Chris Hemsworth, not at all.
Right. And to piggyback off that, I say Rex Smith was the best Daredevil. Like he just was what Daredevil to me should be. And again, that's because I'm stuck in the 70s and 80s with like Red Brown and Jackson Bostwick and Adam West and Christopher Reeve and all that stuff. And, it was such a, wasn't as over the top as these movies of today are. And I'm like, wow, there's just so much going on. It's like distracting, where before it was just, Red Brown comes out on this motorcycle with this cool shield or whatever. And, Hulk's running through New Times Square or whatever,
but that's the thing. Like what I was getting at is, I loved all that stuff growing up as a kid. And, I loved watching all the episodes of The Greatest American Hero. But
believe it or not,
at the same time, like especially when we're talking about like comic book IPs, intellectual properties, when you think about what they are now versus like watching the Bill Bixby show or the specials that they did on NBC, and we see what we have now. I feel very fortunate to be getting these high quality, shorter episode seasons, because the alternative is there's not as much comic book accuracy. And I mean, comic book accurate, like what a laughable fucking term that was back in the 90s and 80s. Like comic accurate. Okay. Like I couldn't even get a comic book accurate Superman movie. You know what I mean? Like I love the Dick Donner movie and I'm very fond of part 2, but I at no point have ever read a fucking comic book up until very, very recently. And that's only because the name of that comic book is Superman 78, where Superman rips his fucking S off and throws it and turns into a giant saran wrap to fucking burrito up one of his goddamn villains. I've never seen that in a comic. It wasn't a movie, though. They could just do whatever the fuck they wanted when it came to those kinds of things. Now, there's so many more people that are savvy to what the actual like origins of these characters and some of these storylines are, that they actually have to try to gear it more towards the accurate portion, and that means a lot more money and a lot more time spent on doing it. I'm okay with having to wait for another season after only getting like anywhere from 6 to 13 episodes, if it means that it's going to be as faithful as it possibly can to what very many of us know to be like the source material. So that's my own thing. That's just me.
So speaking of being comic accurate, and you mentioned, your choice for Thor, nothing against Jason Momoa, but
Yeah.
a better Aquaman was Alan Richson,
Richson.
who's now in Reacher, coming out February 4th.
Yes, based more directly on the books by, oh my God, what the hell is the guy's name? Lee something? Lee Child? Is that?
Now, you said it's based on the books. Is there any affiliation with Jack Reacher? With Tom
Yeah, that's what
Cruise?
it is.
It is.
Jack,
Yeah. So
yeah, Jack Reacher was based on the same book. However,
No, Tom
Alan
Cruise.
Richardson actually looks like Jack Reacher. Like he is supposed to be like 6'4" and built like a tank and just a beast of a human being. So, and I like Alan Richardson. I think he's actually a pretty talented dude. I met him at Rhode Island Comic Con. Very, very nice guy. And he's been in several different things over the years. He was most recently in Titans, showing on HBO Max. He played Hank Hall, aka Hawk of Hawk and Dove, and he was also in the show Blue Mountain State that was on Spike TV. It was 3 seasons about a football team that they actually never show them play football, which is one I love that about the show. It's definitely a very bro comedy, but he is hysterical. Like he is the reason you watch that show. He brought me back to it every time. And he was also the voice of Raphael in the newer live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies.
Yep. Did you see the trailer?
Oh yeah, it looks good. It looks really good.
And they make fun of it, his size. It was like, why does he have zip ties? Because the handcuffs wouldn't fit.
And then he just rips his wrists apart.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's cute. You guys recycle.
Now you mentioned Aquaman, which reminds me of Arrow. And why did we
I segued. Let's not go back there.
No, I was just gonna say, why did we set up the character of Oliver Queen in Smallville and then get a completely different actor to play Arrow in an Arrow show? Why didn't they just keep the same guy who's already established?
You're asking it like it's a rhetorical question, but there's actually an answer for it. Because Arrow does not take place in the same timeline or universe as Smallville. There is no Clark Kent or Superman in Arrow. Well, there wasn't up until Supergirl, but that involved the whole Crisis on Infinite Earths thing.
Yeah.
When Arrow started up, they were following sort of the same idea as Smallville insofar as like we're gonna keep this really grounded and not do like crazy costumes or powers, kind of follow no flights, no tights thing. But they were setting it up that Oliver Queen was straight up in the show, like he was the first like big vigilante in that world. Like nobody had seen such things happen beforehand.
So Smallville took some liberties with putting people where they should be.
All the time.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you don't think that Clark Kent met the Flash when he was like 20.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, and you also had that Adam Knight or whatever was supposed Batman.
He was gonna be, but they played around with that, and that whole thing was weird.
Yeah, they covered Smallville in the Arrowverse.
They did.
Yeah, it was another universe, and he gave up his.
It was during Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yep.
They revisited the Smallville universe, and we're there only for a total of like 2 minutes altogether, like 2 different scenes, and we find out that Clark actually stopped being Superman. He gave up his powers so he could live a normal life and Lois comes out and says something about the girls or whatever, meaning they clearly have a couple of daughters, and that's that.
Yeah.
So this goes back to what you were saying about how these new people are like, we're trying to keep it accurate as opposed to making it entertaining, and let's put this guy here and put this guy here and do it our way as opposed to the way.
Did you say making it entertaining? No, that's not fair.
No, I'm saying like Smallville, instead of staying like true to who was, would have been there and not been there, they just decided to go with entertaining. So you're saying that Smallville wasn't entertaining is what you're saying?
No, I'm trying to figure out why you're bringing it up. You said it like a counterpoint. They're like, instead of making this entertaining, we'll do this. Like, you said that.
Right. I mean, instead we'll make it entertaining. That's what I meant to say. Yeah. Okay. Instead we'll make it entertaining.
That's so rough.
Right. We'll make it entertaining.
But true though. I mean, was Arrow entertaining? No.
No, I was saying Smallville.
Smallville. Yeah.
We'll make Smallville entertaining, but we don't care if this character wasn't here or not. Sort of like.
Actually, Tom Welling, they actually had a couple of different ideas for how he would show up in Crisis on Infinite Earths, and Tom Welling was like, I want to do the one where he gave up his powers. I don't want to be Superman in it. So he had some input on it, and once again, he made the choice to not appear as Superman.
And it's sad because he made a great Superman.
Yeah, sort of like
he made a good Clark Kent, that's for sure.
It's like Wrath of Khan. Let's make a cool movie and have him say to Chekhov, "I never forget a face," when he wasn't even in the episode. Somebody didn't do their homework, like in Bohemian Rhapsody, where they say Freddie, revealed to the band before Live Aid that he was dying of AIDS, which didn't happen for like 2 or 3 years later. Let's change some stuff around to make it more entertaining, but let's throw the facts right out the window, kind of stuff.
Yeah.
RW, if you want to give a good show a try, I highly recommend, and I know Brandon's going to totally recommend it because he put it in the show notes, Superman and Lois.
Yes.
Okay.
Really, they did a fantastic job on it.
And it's new. Like, when I say new, it's refreshing because it's stories that you haven't seen Superman and Lois go through in like the television medium or even live action or anything like that. It's not the same kind of rehashed stuff that we've gotten 1,000 times over since The Adventures of Superman starring George Reeves.
Yeah.
And that's not a knock on that show. There's only so many times you can have Lois be tricked by the glasses at the last second. Be like, I could have sworn it was him. That's not what this is. It's a logical progression. It's Superman. It's Clark and Lois. They're married. They have 2 teenage sons, and they move back to Smallville because of some unfortunate circumstances with the Daily Planet in Metropolis. And they're just trying to raise their kids in as normal an environment as possible. And then one of the kids develops Superman's powers. The other one doesn't, and they're twins. So it's very interesting altogether, and they've played around with some of the Superman mythos insofar as the past of the character and his ancestry, his father and mother particularly, and how it relates to some of the villains that may or may not show up. They zagged when I thought they were going to zig every time in the first season, and I was pretty pumped. There's actually a character that shows up in it who he's given like a really, really good live action representation for the first time. It's not the first time he's been represented live action, but it's the first good representation. And once I realized who it was, that split second before they confirm it, I geeked the fuck out in my living room. I was like, no fucking way. And sure enough, fucking way. So I cannot recommend checking it out enough.
All right, I'll have to check it out. I mean, what is it? 3 seasons, 3 episodes per season?
It's 16 episodes the first season.
Is it 16?
I believe.
I thought it was less than that. Also new trailers. So we saw Reacher Last Train to Christmas. Looks great. Michael Sheen, sort of like a what the hell is that movie? Every time a bell rings, an angel gets his way.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes, it's a Wonderful Life, but on a train.
Oh, nice.
Really?
Yep.
Every time a bell rings, you're on a train.
Yeah. Also, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse trailer dropped. That looks awesome.
It does.
Yeah. And Peacemaker trailer also dropped. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse comes out October 7th. Peacemaker is January 13th, 2022. Last Train to Christmas is December 18th. And Reacher is February 4th. Superman and Lois is January 11th. Also, I believe January 11th is Eternals coming out on VOD.
Ooh. That's certainly going to be out on VOD.
Yeah.
Listen, Eternals isn't a bad movie. It's just, it was a necessary movie. If that makes any sense. Like, it needed to get made because there are ideas and concepts in it that had to be put out so other things that occur later on in the MCU will make sense. That's
Okay.
You know, it's a building block movie. Superman and Lois season 1 is 15 episodes.
Oh.
Nice.
I know we need to wrap things up, but wanted to also say Tom Holland says he would love to work with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield one day.
I'm telling you, if they don't show up in this movie,
the fire.
I'm gonna wet my pants laughing. I'm gonna lose my shit, and like other people might lose their shit too. But me, it's gonna full on be like guffawing, like
you
fools.
Brandon, I just wanted to mention when we recorded our show today, we mentioned exactly word for word what you said, and we said it in a good way because we for weeks you've been saying that, and we were talking about exactly the piece of news Leo said, and we were saying we were complimenting what you said in a good way, and you know I do want to be I want to be a little fly on the wall also.
Yeah, like listen, if they're in it, cool, all right, but if they're not, for me, even better. Like, I'm not much for Schadenfreude, all right, but like it's just fans have been fucking banging their heads against the wall about this since the movie was like announced, and we started getting like little tidbits here and there about what was going to be involved in the story, and if it ends up being a whole new Mephisto in WandaVision thing, oh my god, like it'll be like Christmas, Easter, and my birthday all wrapped up into one. Like I'll be there in the theater watching them freak out and be like, I didn't get you guys anything though. Like it's gonna be something to behold either way. You know, if they're all in it, wow. And if they're not, wow.
Last two items. Daredevil is back. Kevin Feige confirmed Charlie Cox is the MCU Daredevil.
Well, yeah, in a manner of speaking, he confirmed it. He said, well, if we're going to have Daredevil in anything, then Matt Murdock will definitely be played by Charlie Cox. So it's like he confirmed it. Like, all right. But you know, the bitch would be like, oh, no Matt Murdock in anything ever. Oh, they just mentioned Daredevil or some bullshit. Like, just loopholes galore.
And just to tie everything up, we should talk about the 70s show being
That's
reviewed.
awesome.
That 70s show, RW, you said is being revived as the 90s show?
I didn't say that.
No, it's not being revived. The 90s show that's being made is going to be a continuation from the events of that 70s show.
Okay.
Kurtwood Smith and Deborah Jo Rupp are going to be in it as Kitty and Red Foreman. The difference, the reason why it's being specified as such too is it's essentially a sequel series, much like Fuller House was for Full House. But that's because I remember this so bad. There was a show called That 80s Show that
Yes.
came out on Fox, and it was just tangentially connected to that 70s show. The main character of that show, played by Glenn Howerton from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, he plays Dennis. His character's name was Corey, and he was Eric Foreman's cousin, and that's it. That's how the two shows connected. Other than the titles, that 70s show and that 80s show, it was not particularly good. That's why it was canceled after like 6 episodes, if that.
And then they made Goldbergs, which is phenomenal.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Well, yeah, that's because they were smarter about how they made references to the 80s in the Goldbergs. The 80s show was just, it happened to take place in the 80s. That's about it.
Yeah.
But you know, this new one could be pretty interesting. Who knows?
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah. And now before you say anything else, I don't know what other, because you kind of like wrapping it up there. I just want to say, I cannot be the only fucking person out there that has been like looking at everything coming out for the Matrix. I cannot be. Like,
I watched a trailer.
Yeah. Oh wow. So you liked it that much?
It was a thing.
It was a thing. I don't know, man. I thought it was fucking cool. Like, hold on. Did you see the one that they just put? Like the ad they just did?
I think so.
Deja Vu.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was
Deja
okay.
Vu.
You weren't impressed by that?
I was.
I was.
It made me more interested to watch the movie.
Well, then mission
but-
accomplished.
Yeah. It's. I was so hurt with Matrix.
Yes,
the
I know.
sequels.
That's why I'm not even cautiously hopeful. I'm ready to be hurt again.
Yeah.
I'm willing to give them a chance. I was so mad when parts 2 and 3 came out. And like I said at the beginning of all this, here I am all these years later, and you would think that I would have learned my lesson, but nope. As soon as that shit started up, I was like, I'm fucking full bore. I'm there for it, man. I've been reading and checking out so much shit, and like this particular ad that just ran, the way that they do it, it just uses one line from the original Matrix movie. It's when Trinity turns to explain to Neo what deja vu is in the Matrix. And you know, you just keep hearing us say, "Oh, it's when something they change something in the Matrix," and they use that line. They repeat it several times, and they echo it and distort it, and then they show you overlays, moving panels going over the footage from the new movie, and as the panels overlay the images from this new film, it just in that brief second as it goes over, it shows the character or a situation from one of the previous films, showing like the cycle and everything. And for me, like, I was watching and I was like, oh my penis can only get so erect. You know, and I come in like, all right, I'm going to talk about some Matrix shit. And then I hear you like, yeah, and I'm just going to mention this last thing. I'm like, what? No, fuck that noise. I'm saying something about Neo, Leo.
Okay, so when's it come out?
December 22nd.
Okay.
On HBO Max and in theaters. I do believe internationally it's only being released in theaters though. So good luck, Europe.
So how about the week of the 29th? Do we want to do a Matrix show where we rewatch 1, 2, and 3 and then a new one?
Yes, absolutely. Do you want to throw the Animatrix in there too?
I don't know if I have time for that.
Oh, okay. That's the fucking straw that breaks the camel's back, apparently. I don't know. You know what? Just watch one story from it then. Watch Kid's story.
No, well, they're short episodes, right?
Yeah, but it's still like an hour and a half long, like thing. But yeah, you can watch vignettes. Like you don't have to watch each one.
Well, let's do a revisit of the Matrix. Let's do a look at
the Matrix Revisited.
Yeah.
Because it's an R word, guys. Like Reloaded and Revolutions and Resurrection.
So is everybody up for that?
I'm just gonna let you know ahead of time. I might not be able to go because I may be
able to go where?
I might not be able to participate in that because I have some pre-birthday festivities I'll be partaking in.
Oh, the 29th? Okay.
That usually 29th, 30th, 31st, I ring in the new year very hard.
I believe
Oh,
most people call,
Say,
I believe
you're-
most people call that binging, but okay.
no,
you're going to be stoned out of your mind.
no,
All
I
right,
didn't
man.
say that. It's just, let's just say
No, you just heavily implied it.
whatever. Think what you guys want. I celebrate my birthday in my own way. Deal with it, you.
3 days at a stretch. I get
He's
it.
going to be on a binger, totally drunk. He's going to be having Molotov cocktails, ripping his shirt off in the street.
So what do you got planned for those 3 days? Day 1 binge, day 2 binge, day 3 purge.
And he means the real purge. He's going to go out.
Just wear a pig mask and
Yeah.
fucking baseball bat wrapped in
Alright.
barbed wire.
No, I'm
Just start
basically
start quoting classic movies. Come out and play.
the 29th. I'm having my birthday dinner with my parents. The 30th, I'm celebrating my birthday. I'm taking the day off. I'm celebrating my birthday in my own way. And then the 31st is New Year's Eve. I have a New Year's Eve party. I always do with my family. So is that good enough? Are you guys
When you
done?
just said I'm not going to be around for 3 days. I'm doing my own thing. That was good enough. But that's fine.
Well,
Thank
you
you for your
guys,
explanation.
besides PJ ripping me in the chat so much, I wanted to make sure you guys don't rip on me for making sure I celebrate my own.
We're just
I'm
I'm not
busting
gonna
on you,
I'm not
Steve.
gonna rip on you for celebrating your birthday.
Bullshit! You guys just did for 5 fucking.
I didn't do anything.
No, we didn't know that's what you were doing.
No. We were not ripping
back
on
to
you
the
for
70s,
celebrating
RW.
your birthday. That's not what was happening.
All right.
We were imagining the scenario because you weren't saying what you were doing, so that's why we were like, oh,
Yeah, and
he's
all
gonna
you
be
said,
partying hard. That's all.
yeah, you only said you were partying hard, so that left it open for us to.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
now you
that's
know
all.
what I'm doing. Dinner with my
Okay.
parents, celebrating on my own, and a
Okay,
New
so
Year's Eve
you're
party.
having a Letterkenny super soft birthday party.
I like it.
Yeah, whatever. I never seen Letterkenny, so yeah, I guess.
Oh, you're missing out.
Yeah,
Oh,
There's a mic there.
just
yeah, snuck up on me.
just make sure you have the unicorn
Pinata.
hats. Yeah.
Yeah.
RW, does that sound good to you?
I can try to watch him, and this is where I get attacked, but I didn't ever find him all that entertaining when I watched him originally when I worked at the theater.
Well, that's okay. Nobody found 2 and 3 entertaining anyway. So
This one guy came in and he's like, one for the Matrix. I'm like, weren't you here the other day? And he's like, this is my 7th time. And I'm like, oh my God. But I guess I had a cerebral hemorrhage trying to figure out what was going on. That's probably why I didn't enjoy him. So yeah, I have access to him, so
okay.
I can try to watch it's 3, right?
Yep, 3 of them, and then the new one that's coming out.
Right. I won't be able to watch that one, obviously, because I just don't go to the theater or whatever. But...
Oh no! It'll be on VOD and Pluther.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, don't you worry your pretty little head about that. We got you covered.
Oh, my head is pretty.
Matter of fact, Remastered should be on Pluther.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
The
non-green versions.
Non-green version, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was an accident. That was because of film transfer. Fuck you. No, it wasn't. You lie to me, Wachowskis. Fucking everything in that movie had a green tint for the exact reason that we all know. Because you wanted to subtly let us know that everything was taking place inside of a fucking computer. Great job. It worked for a while.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
I mean, you did just say you couldn't wrap your head around it, so this might be mind-blowing, but it was all a program the whole time.
Wow.
Human beings are batteries. They're no longer born. They are grown.
Yeah. And they fit on 12 floppies.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly 12. Unreal. Oh boy. That first movie's great. And Reloaded and Revolutions.
Every time we do this podcast, I feel like I'm stuck in one of those like Sesame Street videos where it's like 3 of these things are kind of the same, but one of these things is not like the others. Now it's time to play our game. Oh wait, now we all match. Never mind.
Oh, got it. Oh man, but yeah, so yeah, I'm totally down for doing some Matrix stuff. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
We'll talk about what we saw and why it doesn't make any fucking sense for some of the other nonsensical things we saw in 2 of the other movies. Good.
Yeah, and it'll be good to revisit 2 and 3. It's I know I bash them quite a bit, but it's been, I mean, last time I seen them must have been on like VHS or something. So
wow, yeah, that's a while.
yeah.
I had Darrow watch them for the first time last year, so it was.
Now, isn't there actually a DVD called Matrix Revisited?
I don't know. I mean, it's probably. I feel like it's a special or an article title. Revisit 2001 film. Oh, it was like a documentary on it.
Okay, so there was something called that. That's
yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah, man. I tell you though, I remember the first time I saw that flick. I went in and was totally trashing it before it started. I was like, oh, cool. It's really great to see Keanu Reeves doing another big budget follow up to Johnny Mnemonic. We get it. You like having computer stuff put in your head. God. And I started MST3King with my buddy Sean, and then the scene where Trinity fucking runs up a wall, like runs around it, then drops behind the dude and just breaks his arm. I was like, I'm gonna shut up now. And my eyes were just wide open and glued to that screen for the rest of the movie. And my friend Sean and I walked out of the theater, and we were just like, we didn't like smoke any pot. Why do I feel high? Like it was crazy. Like we were geeking the fuck out. And like in that moment, I actually had like the tiniest glimmer. I'm like, this is like what it felt like for people who went in to see Star Wars in 77 and had no idea what they were about to see. Like I had the lowest expectations in the world for the Matrix. I really thought it was going to be so much like Johnny Mnemonic. And then it blew me the fuck away. And I was so amped for those sequels. And when 2 came out and I started seeing some of the shit that was or was not happening in it, I was just like, but no, what happened? And that's when I realized, oh, they never planned on a trilogy. That was a one-off. That's why he's so powerful at the end of the first fucking movie. They had to nerf his ass for the rest of them. But regardless, I look forward to watching them and getting to the Matrix Resurrections, because they could atone for some past sins.
What I find funny right now that you just said what you said is I get picked on because I only want to talk about the 70s. And guess who was there and saw Star Wars in the theaters when it originally came out?
George Lucas. I can use a cultural touchstone.
And he drops the mic.
Can use a cultural touchstone. Well, I'm certainly not going to say Return of the Jedi, but I could have gone further back and like this is what it must have been like for people that walked into the Wizard of Oz for the first time and didn't know what to expect. And next thing they know, glorious Technicolor as far as the eye could see.
You should have gone there, yeah. Actually, yeah, no, we can't. Yeah, never mind.
Maybe we should add a section of the show, like a little 70s section for RW.
They're like, no.
Sure, I'm gonna have so much I can contribute to that.
Now I just bring things in from time to time. But the funny thing is, everything that I bring in is something that's retro that you guys probably hit, like Star Wars. That's the 70s. These Star Wars trading cards. You've seen the movie. You might not have got the cards when you were a kid, but it pertains to something that we all know about. So it's not like I'm like, hey, who saw that 1970s movie? He walked up the mountain. You guys are like, I have no idea what you're talking about. It's always something that you at least somewhat have a clue about. Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah.
Hey, we're we all add to different viewpoints of our own Yeah, we all have different memories, different time periods.
The different ingredients is what makes the gumbo good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we have Steven's the little baby from the 90s, and Brandon's the middle child, and
Yeah, the first time ever. I don't like it. It's weird and uncomfortable.
Well, what's funny is my memory, like with the masterclass thing, I'm like I feel like I'm trapped in one of Steve Martin's early stand-up routines where he goes, "I was going to say something, I forgot what it was," and you're standing there going, he goes, "I always say, I remember now, I'm radioactive," but it's true. Like you're in the middle of a conversation and you're like,
I get it.
so, and I know it's getting worse. So, in a couple of years, if I'm still on this show, you'll be like, "Who remembers the 70s?" And I'm like, "When was that?"
The 70s. Oh yes, now I remember it.
Was that when The Matrix came out?
Just keep a notebook with a pen or a pencil right next to you while you're on the show, and just jot down what you were thinking of.
Yeah.
It's stuff comes and goes, RW, and like when we did last week's show about the 80s, that memory I had of like Hardcastle and McCormick, I haven't thought about that, and since it was on, and it's I have no idea how I pulled that out of my ass, it's but then ask me what I had for lunch, and who knows.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Okay. Steven, I know we need to go.
Why are you telling me that?
Because you're moving.
I think he was saying it because you were moving around. Although I kind of dug it. It reminded me of that music video "Go Deep" by Janet Jackson from like 1999. So rock on with your bad self, son.
I'm not telling you to go anywhere. I was just charging my battery because
tell him to go to hell.
Did you end up getting
Steve, tell him to go to hell. Oh, missed opportunity. Hey, Leo.
Hey. Love you too. Did you end up getting a new laptop?
I'll tell you offline unless you have to go.
No. I just know we were recording another show, so I just wanted to, make sure that there's plenty enough time to sleep.
That is always nice.
Well, I did have a few questions for you, but yes, I did get I'm getting a new computer. I'm getting one built, and it's not a Mac.
You don't say.
It's not a Mac?
Well,
is that what you said? So it's a Tandy 1000?
This is why I wanted to tell you offline.
No, it's cool. No, that's great, man. So
it's because certain people don't have fucking time after we're offline. And every time I try to talk to Leo during the week, he doesn't have fucking time.
I like how you said certain people and then followed it up immediately with his name. Like there was no mystery left to it. Was certain people like Leo. Oh, good job, Leo.
Yeah, I know. I know the new job's taking up a lot of time, so it's it's
that's great though, Steve. Seriously, like I've wanted to like get like one built for myself too. So. That's awesome. I'm sure you're looking forward to when you actually get it.
Basically what happened was I went to the computer store and I basically told him what I wanted. And he basically was telling me, hey, look, here's the situation. And I want to build you this computer. And it's a laptop. It's just a laptop. And I basically will be using it for conventions when I go to conventions, and I'll be using it here in the apartment. Obviously, my desktop computer will be at the studio. My dual monitor, soon to be quadruple monitor computer setup. Obviously, I have an iMac in the studio, but obviously, it's a Dell Latitude with custom 1 terabyte solid state drive. So I'll be using that here. But right now, I'm using my girlfriend's computer, which is a piece of shit. That's why very short battery.
Thank you, Sammy.
He's working if we can't hear you.
You gonna be able to game?
You tell her I said it, damn it.
Huh?
You gonna be able to game on it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have the bells and whistles in it, so yeah.
Nice.
But obviously, if I don't, I'll be able to game on my iMac in the studio. So
nice.
I've always wanted a homemade computer that has like blue lights inside it with the glass that you can see inside it or whatever. But
It's a laptop. It's
no,
not.
I know yours is a laptop. I'm saying I always wanted to have one built that has like the glass that you can see in and have all the blue lights on. And now
Yeah.
they're making them where they put like little like action figures and stuff in there, and they create like a movie scene. I'm like, it's insane some of the stuff people are doing with the desktops now or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
problem with that is, it may look cool, the first week you have it, but then dust builds in there fast. So it's
yeah.
That's why I'm happy with my iMac in the studio, because it's, there's nothing can get in it, and it's, just compact. And,
yeah.
obviously if I do the show here, on Wednesday nights in the studio, it's there. And if I do the show here in my apartment, I have the Dell Latitude, which I should get next week. They're
Good.
building it.
That's awesome. That's fantastic, man. Good. Like, congratulations. I'm sure it was a long time coming. It sounds like you bit the bullet when you walked through the door of the store. So
Yeah.
mazel tov.
Jeremy says, my son builds computers. He's got some cool stuff going on. Water cooled 3070 graphics. Ooh.
All right, have it build me one for less than $75.
Oh, geez. What's crazy?
Send
is,
you a fucking pocket calculator.
Yeah, I know. You mentioned the 3070 graphics card. The graphics cards have skyrocketed in price, because you have like crypto miners and everything.
Did you guys hear about the RTX 30 graphics card that got hijacked? Like a bunch of cards got hijacked in a heist and are now being held up for a ransom.
No, I know scalpers have been picking up cards.
Yeah.
It's at the point now where I watched this one YouTuber, and they're saying like some people are even like buying whole computers from like just to grab the video card from it, and then build a computer off of that video card.
Cool.
Yeah, because they're a card that is supposed to be going for like $400, like suggested retail is going for like $1,500.
Judas Priest.
Yeah.
Why? Never mind. I don't need to know why. I get it. It's fine.
Crypto miners and scalpers.
Well, anyway, on that pleasant note, we're still talking about scalpers and hackers and the Matrix. Somehow that all worked out together.
It did.
Yeah, so I guess look for our Matrix re-stravaganza.
Cool beans. Well, I want to thank everybody for watching. For me, just check out the Dorkening Podcast Network. A lot of awesome people doing a lot of awesome stuff. RW, where do you like people interacting with you?
Over here. If you go to the bottom of the page, and there's links to all my social media. And if anybody knows Ryan Reynolds, put in a good word for me.
Cool beans. And all that information can be found in the show notes. Steven, where do you like people interacting with you?
You can follow Super Retro Throwback Reviews on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We have two shows, Super Retro Throwback Reviews, The Audio Files, and CSI The Vegas Files. Both shows can be found on all major podcasts and distributors and on the Dorkening Podcast Network, the multi-award winning Dorkening Podcast Network. Also, we have Super Retro merch, which you can go to our Teespring store, go to our Facebook page, or all the links, or all that stuff, and you can get it there. If you use the promo code Retro Xmas, you'll get 50% off your order. We have shirts, pint glasses for both shows, so 50% off is not that bad, so definitely check that out. And patreon.com/Super Retro Podcast. And I'll be here every Wednesday, except on the Matrix show, because I'll be celebrating my 33rd fucking birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, you old fart. Brandon.
Hey everyone. I'd love it if you come over and join me at the Powers Combined Facebook group. We're just a bunch of geeks that get together and have some laughs, share info, share memes. Our number one rule there is don't be a jerk. If you violate that, you will be booted immediately. You can follow me on Twitter at Brandon's Powers. and on Instagram at This Brandon Has Powers. I'm here every Wednesday on the Dorkening Network podcast, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and keep your eyes peeled. I'll also be appearing with Leo and our buddy Justin Cooper on the Dork Night podcast, where we cover all things Batman, as well as the Comics Paradox podcast, where we, same gentleman alongside me, we cover alternate reality comic book tales, Elseworlds, what ifs, just imaginary tales, stuff like that. Be a lot of fun. So, like I said, check that out. We'll be putting that out before too long, sometime in the near future.
Very near future. Very near future. With that, everybody have an awesome evening, and we'll catch you later. Bye.
Bye, everybody.